Good evening, everyone. God is good. All right, I just want to make sure. To our honorable and most distinguished members of the bench, both current and past, to the sitting members of GABWA, our magnificent organization, to the newly elected officers that are about to be installed, to the members of the Gate City Bar, the DeKalb Lawyers Association, all NBA affiliates, by the way. Just had to do that little plug there as well. And to our other members of the bar, our family and friends, we want to welcome you to the 2014 installation of the Officers in Leadership of GABWA. Indeed, my name is C.K. Hoffler, as some of you may know. I'm a partner at Edmund, Lindsay, and Hoffler, and it is such an honor for me to serve as your mistress of ceremony. Each of the presenters today, each of these women, each of the individuals that are being installed have a few things in common. They are women of distinction. They are trailblazing women. They have led the way in our legal community and have an extraordinary sense of community service, unparalleled sense of community service. So we have a wonderful program for you today. I mean, whether we are talking about the founding sisters of GABWA, and we have two of them that are here today, Judge Harris and Judge Walker, whether you're talking about them, whether you're talking about, I'm going to grab this microphone because it just seems like that might be better. Okay. Whether you're talking about some of the illustrious past presidents, Jacqueline Bunn, the immediate past president, Renata Turner, Sonia Brown, my twin, Davida Good, John Jones, or Joy Lampley Forrester, or whether you're talking about some of the new officers who are going to be installed, and some of the stellar members of the bench, such as past President Judge Kimberly Esmond Adams, or some of the dedicated officers that have served this organization, like Janet Scott and Adjoa Gartley Tago Seymour, and she told me from this point forward I can call her Adjoa Seymour, or a devoted friend, Dana Singleton, and last but not least, whether you're talking about our incoming trailblazing president, Tracy Benzo. Each of these women are some of the best and the brightest jurists that this country has to offer. So let's give them a hand. Now, in terms of this program, I have strict instructions. I've been told, we're all trial lawyers, so we like to talk, but I've been told that we have a time limitation, and so what I'm going to do is briefly introduce everyone who's going to speak. And then they're going to come up, they're going to give you greetings and focus on their topic, and then we're going to move on. So without further ado, because we want to just make sure that this goes according to plan and that no one says, CK, just sit down, please. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce first our immediate past president, Jacqueline Bunn. And I would be remiss, you all know of all of her accomplishments. You know that she's deputy director in the Legal Services Unit of the Georgia Department of Public Safety. You know that she was a co-host of Legally Speaking for 9 years. You know that she's a seasoned litigator. You know she's just a bad mamma jam. That's the bottom line. But what you may not know, Jacqueline, is that she also directed UGA's theatrical ensemble as an undergraduate and in law school. So not only can she act, but she can also tap dance. So I think as black women, sometimes we must know how to keep our day job, but just have other options just in case of emergencies. So without further ado, Jacqueline Bunn.
Thank you, CK, for that kind introduction. CK didn't realize, but in September, I was appointed to be the Executive Director of the Criminal Justice Coordinating Council, so I now have another job. Good evening to all of you, and it is indeed a pleasure and a privilege to welcome you to GABWA's first General Body meeting of 2014. The new officers and board hit the ground running, but tonight we pause by way of this installation to put an official stamp on the year that is to come. And we also pause to celebrate and take encouragement from what has gone before. 33 years ago, Chief Justice Leah Sears, Judge Bensonetta Tipton Lane, and Judge Barbara Harris gathered around a table and discussed the possibility of forming a voluntary women's bar organization. With that spark, other like-minded, dynamic female attorneys were identified who shared this vision of a association that would nurture, support, and galvanize the power of black women attorneys, advocate for women and children, and empower our communities. The vision was realized in GABWA. That vision continues to flourish through an organization that has grown from a handful of members to a membership of more than 600 strong. The 2014 theme is Honoring Our Past, Envisioning Our Future. William Wordsworth said, and I quote, "Life is divided into three terms, that which was, which is, and which will be. Let us learn from the past to profit by the present, and from the present to live better in the future," end quote. As part of the theme, GABWA's 2014 president wisely incorporated the Sankofa bird as part of her banner. Sankofa, translated, means it is not taboo to go back and fetch what you forgot. This concept is expressed symbolically as a mythic bird that flies forward while looking backward with an egg in its mouth. The egg carried by the Sankofa bird symbolizes the future. As we celebrate the installation of the 2014 officers and board and all the promise that they represent, we look forward to a year that will allow our membership to look back and gather the best of what GABWA's past has to teach so that GABWA can achieve her full potential as she moves forward. So let the celebration begin.
You know, in life, we all learn at some point that we must put God first. And so there's no exception whether you're a member of an organization or in your life. And it doesn't matter what type of God you worship. There's some higher being, and we appreciate that we must put God first. When I first met my twin, because a number of people came up and asked if I was Sonia, when I first met her, I was immediately struck by the type of individual that she was, by the warmth of Ms. Brown. But when I heard her preach at her church, I felt like saying hallelujah the whole time. But the one thing that we know about many of our members, not only do we have illustrious careers, and Sonia Brown is no exception. As the Assistant Solicitor for DeKalb County, Office of Solicitor General, she's been a prosecutor her entire career, and she's always been an advocate for victims, children, families. She's defined her career by helping those that can't help themselves. And in fact, many of the women that you'll meet tonight actually have that same thread, if you will, in their career. She's protected the rights of women and children. She has always been there whenever they needed her in a very significant way. Her voice has always been heard. As you know, she's one of the celebrated co-hosts of GABWA's Legally Speaking. But again, most significantly, she can preach. She's a minister. And so it's only fitting that I would call my twin, and I have my glasses off, so you're going to keep your glasses off? We're going to put them on. Okay. She's going to put them on, so mine are going on, to do the invocation, and that will be followed by the welcoming remarks by past President Renata Turner.
Good evening. Let us pray. O most gracious and wonderful Father, we come into this house today, first of all, lifting your name up, giving you all the honor, all the glory, and all the praise you so richly and you so rightly deserve. We come right now saying thank you. Thank you for a new year. Thank you for a year filled with new opportunities and endless possibilities. Thank you for a new year that gives us an opportunity to do all that you have called us to do. And I thank you that in this new year, we have an opportunity on this day to install all of those women whom you have called in this due season to do the work to which you have called them to do. We stand on the shoulders of many women who have come before us, those who stand as the founders of this great organization, the Georgia Association of Black Women Attorneys. We honor them by the work that we will continue to do We honor them by being true to the mission that they so wonderfully outlined for this organization. And we honor them by being true to ourselves and being true to you. You have called us all to be servants, and as servants, we come to show our love, and we show our love through the great work of this organization. And as we stand on the shoulders of all of these great women, women who have been trailblazers, women who have forged a path where no path existed, we remember that as we stand on their shoulders in this present time, we are to reach back and to hold out our hands for those women that will come behind us. And we are to leave a legacy as great and as rich as the legacy that has been left before us. And I ask right now that a special anointing will fall upon each person in this place tonight, but especially upon our President, Tracy Benzo, as she takes the charge to lead this organization to even greater and more wonderful heights. We come right now saying thank you for all that will be done in this year. We say thank you for every single member who will contribute through her time, her talents, and her gifts. And we say thank you that you loved each one of us to bring us through into this year so that we can see the great work of this organization be continued. And so, with giving respect to every single faith and religion being represented here today, we offer up this prayer in your name, our Father, our Son, and our Holy Spirit. Amen.
Well, while past President Renata Turner makes her way to the stage, I just wanted to remind you all that she is. Well, while past President Renata Turner makes her way to the program at John Marshall Law School, I think you all know that. But one of the things that you may not know, in addition to all of the wonderful things that she's done in all of the community service, is that she also competes in a triathlon with her teenage daughter. And you see, again, this goes with the broadening of our horizons. It's important to keep your day job, but then you have other options. And so without further ado, I'd like to bring up past President Renata Turner.
Thank you. And you should know that I did not put that in my bio. It was slipped in unbeknownst to me, but yes, I am. There's a couple of Tri-Divas in the house. It's a great privilege and honor to welcome you to Atlanta's John Marshall Law School and to the 2014 GABWA Installation of Officers. It's particularly an honor for me because Tracy is an alum of John Marshall. And I see that actually the executive board will be well represented by alum. Janet Scott's also an alum. And we have one of the members at large who is an alum of John Marshall. So, yes, hi, Marianne. So we're going to be well represented this year, and I'm very excited because I know that Tracy is going to do an excellent job. I've heard the term trailblazer mentioned a couple of times. And since I met her several years ago when she was a baby law student, and I was actually a baby professor, I knew that she had something special about her and that she was going to be a great asset to the bar and to our community. And so I'm so proud that she is now taking the banner to be GABWA's president. As you know, GABWA is near and dear to my heart, and I am just really honored that we are passing the baton to someone who is just so deserving, and I'm certain going to do such a wonderful job. We have a lot of issues that are facing us as a community, and we need strong leadership who is fearless, who can see beyond the horizon and be strong enough to do the job that needs to be done. And I'm just so honored that you are going to be taking that leadership role for GABWA. And again, welcome you all to John Marshall.
As you all know, Janet Scott is going to be inducted today as a vice president of GABWA. What you may also know is that she's a ferocious trial lawyer. But what you may not know, I'm not certain if you know, is that she has always put God first, and she's been a teacher. And for those, I know there are many educators in the audience, but we entrust our most precious individuals to our teachers. And for those that have taught and for those that teach, we thank you. And Janet Scott is one of those people. So if you would come up and give remarks.
Thank you, CK. And it was actually my students that did motivate me to follow my dreams and go to law school. So I thank them for motivating me. But the moment that we've been waiting for, I just want to give a special welcome to our guests that have joined us tonight. And I'd like to recognize the following groups of people. When you hear your group, if you would please stand and be recognized. Of course, we would like to recognize our GABWA founders and founding members. Would you please stand and be recognized? Our illustrious GABWA past presidents, would you please stand? If we have any members of the GABWA Foundation Board, would you please stand? Members of the judiciary and elected officials, would you please stand? Bar Association presidents, if you would please stand. And if Patrice Perkins Hooker is here this evening, would she please stand? We'll recognize her in her absence. She will be inducted and she will be sworn in this June as the first African American president of the State Bar of Georgia. So that does deserve some recognition. Now, we wouldn't be here tonight without our sponsors, so I would like to take a moment to recognize Tracy Benzo's firm, the Hasner Law Firm. Would Stephen and Heather Hasner please stand? And also with us from Florida, Mr. Lloyd Hasner and Miss Diane. And of course, the team behind Tracy at the Hasner Law Firm, her Hasner Law family, if you would all please stand. And another huge law firm supporter, Sutherland. If a representative from Sutherland would please stand. I think we have someone on the board. Now, Ms. Benzo's special guest. First and foremost, the people that brought this wonderful young woman into the world, Mr. Eugene and Barbara Reedy. If you would please stand. The family of Tracy Reedy Benzo, would you please stand? Paul Merritt, if you would please stand. This is another special guest of Ms. Benzo. Ms. Benzo's mother-in-law, Felicia Benzo, and her brother-in-law, Ash Benzo, if you would please stand. We are also joined by Ms. Benzo's mentor, Keenan Nix, if you would please stand. And I don't know if Dean Woodhouse was able to make it today. He was the first dean of our Professional Development Academy. Okay. We'll clap in his absence. Yes, we will. And then her extended family from Bishopville, South Carolina, if you would please stand. Marvin Singleton, the Price family, and Margaret Hines. Our scholarship recipients that are our hostesses tonight, if you would please come out and be recognized. Thank you so much for coming. We wouldn't be here without our scholarship recipients. And ladies, y'all can have a seat. Y'all don't have to stand back there with programs anymore. See, they're still on duty. Thank you so much. John Marshall Law School, Renata, thank you so much for having us here today in this beautiful facility. Families First, I don't know if Kim Anderson made it today. That is our partner for this year, so we really appreciate Families First. And of course, Mr. Benzo, if he would please stand, Tracy's husband. And I did have this okayed before I did this. Madam President has given me a moment of personal privilege to introduce my family, my mother, and my sisters. Thank you. Thank you for coming tonight.
As you've heard, our theme is honoring our past and envisioning our future. When we talk about honoring our past, we talk about the women that sat, there were 10 women roughly, in 1981 that got together and had this vision. You've heard about the vision. And we're blessed here today to have some of those women here in the audience. And we're going to hear from Judge Julie T. Walker, one of those women who in 1981 sat down and felt that it was important for us to make a difference. And they made a difference. You all know Judge Walker. I met her over a decade ago, I think, at a wedding. She has completely and utterly blazed a trail in this community, and in fact, wherever she's been. I personally have a lot of awe for anyone who works for the IRS. That's just a personal thing there. But she has always been there, and she's been a mentor to whoever reached out to her. And that's extraordinary, but of course, it's exemplified by the fact that she sat down with a number of women who felt that we could make a difference in this community and, in fact, in this country. What you may not know about Judge Walker is that she, too, coaches and competes in triathlons. And she has raised wonderful children in this community, and she basically has been someone who's been an inspiration to almost every single GABWA member. So without further ado, and I know that she has such a magnificent bio, and I can't possibly say enough about Judge Julie T. Walker.
Good evening, my GABWA. One more time. Good evening, my GABWA. Better. As one of the founding members of GABWA and its 13th president in 1994, I am honored to have a few minutes to give you a brief history of how and why GABWA was created. Now close your eyes and listen. Eyes closed. Imagine early 1981 in Atlanta, Georgia, home of Dr. Martin Luther King and the Civil Rights Movement, the Honorable Andrew Young as mayor of Atlanta. Imagine that back in the 80s, we referred to ourselves as black attorneys, and we have evolved to calling ourselves African American attorneys. Imagine that all black attorneys in Atlanta knew one another, whether you worked in a small, medium, or large firm, or for the federal government, state, county, or city government, or as a solo practitioner. As the total number of black attorneys in Atlanta was limited, and we could all fit in the back dining room of the historic Pastor's Restaurant on MLK. Imagine only 2 African American bar associations in Atlanta. The NBA affiliate Gate City Bar Association, a non-political bar association, and the National Conference of Black Lawyers, a grassroots activist bar association. And guess what? Would you be surprised that there were more black male attorneys practicing law than black female attorneys? And the president and leadership of these bar associations were black male attorneys, and the worker bees were largely the black female attorneys. With this backdrop, according to our first president, Leah Sears, she talked to Barbara Harris and Benny Lane about starting a black female attorney bar association. Discussions began between them and 10 other black female attorneys who eventually became known as the founders and founding members. The group shared a common vision of starting a black female bar association whose mission was unique and slightly more focused than the Gate City Bar Association. We met, continued to recruit other like-minded black female attorneys, drafted documents, worked tirelessly, and hence the Georgia Association of Black Women Attorneys, affectionately known as GABWA, was formed in 1981. GABWA's mission was and remains to be threefold: to focus on legal and non-legal issues affecting black women and their children, to increase the number of black women in the judiciary, and to be a political organization that would support, endorse, and elect black political and judicial candidates. In the spring of 1981, the first official organizational and membership outreach meeting was held in the conference room at the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Northern District of Georgia, where Barbara A. Harris was an assistant U.S. attorney. In the summer of 1981, our first official election of officers of GABWA was held at the home of Wanda Young Wilson. Leah J. Sears was elected as the first president, effective from inception in 1981 through 1982. I was elected the first treasurer of GABWA. Our Constitution and Bylaws meeting was held during the winter of 1981 at the home of Susan Peace Langford, as it was a memorable occasion because the furnace and the heat went out, and we persevered in spite of the cold to finalize our legal formation documents. Given the small number of black female attorney members of GABWA, meetings were held at members' homes, and children were and will always be welcome at our meetings, as we are women with legal careers and mothers. As our membership grew, our monthly meetings were held in law firm conference rooms, judges' courtrooms, black-owned businesses, and Atlanta City Hall. GABWA Scholarship Foundation was formed in 1983 to provide book and tuition scholarships for second and third year black female law students attending Georgia law schools. Linda Early Chastain, one of the original professors of the newly created Georgia State University School of Law, was the organizer and incorporated the Scholarship Foundation. Shortly after GABWA was created, in June 1982, Mayor Andrew Young appointed Barbara A. Harris as a judge on the Atlanta Municipal Court. He also appointed Leah J. Sears as a judge on the City Court of Atlanta, known as Traffic Court. In 1988, at the mere age of 32 years old, Judge Leah J. Sears successfully ran for election for an open judicial vacancy on the Superior Court of Fulton County. GABWA members were active in her campaign by stuffing envelopes, telephone calls to voters, and campaigning with signs and distributing materials. So not only were GABWA members appointed to the judiciary, we are bold and fearless to run for judicial elections, as one of our primary missions was to increase the number of black women in the judiciary, and it happened in our first 7 years. Due to time restraints, I will conclude this brief history stating that since our inception in 1981, 33 past presidents of GABWA have been responsible for creating the programs of GABWA: community service, legally speaking, legal education, political action, judicial nominations review, law student programs, sister to sister, civil pro bono, interbar relations, professional development academy, judicial and political office academy, gala and auction and fundraising, women to women, legal practice sections, and awards and scholarships. We have been busy working for our members and our communities. Stay tuned for more GABWA history at our February Black History Month meeting at Spelman College, as Madam soon-to-be president launches her story to memorialize GABWA's history in a documentary. I want to thank founding member Wanda Young Wilson for assisting me with our history. Thank you for your time and attention.
And thank you, Judge Walker, for that great history of this wonderful organization. Indeed, we stand on the shoulders of so many, and when we talk about honoring our past, we have to think about those 33 years of women that have given so much to make this organization the great organization that it is today. And Tracy, when we talk about envisioning our future, you and the new officers are our future. And speaking of new officers, I'm now going to call on Adwa Seymour. Now, as many of you know, AJWA practices in the areas of commercial litigation and products liability. And I say that with a great deal of pride because it is so extraordinary that now we see black women, African American women, in products liability, in commercial litigation. Even if they're on that other side, that sort of defense side, well, even if they are defense lawyers, I'm a plaintiff's lawyer, even if they are defense lawyers, we certainly appreciate because we need to be everywhere. And so it is so extraordinary for me, even as a plaintiff's lawyer, 26 years, to be able to honor a young woman who is blazing a trail, because I know what it is to do products liability work. I know what it is to do commercial litigation. And it is some of the most technically intense and detailed work, I believe, in our practice. And I think it takes a special breed of lawyer to be tenacious and to do that. And of course, GABWA, which you all may not know, is also trained at ballet, jazz, and modern dance. And she also knows how to tap dance. Now, I didn't know if you all knew that. But I do know that as a commercial litigator, you have to do a lot of tap dancing. So I would like to bring up this extraordinary trial lawyer, commercial litigator, defense lawyer. I'd like to honor defense lawyers to the podium to bring us a few comments. GABWA.
Pretty women wonder where my secret lies. I'm not cute or even built to suit a fashion model size. But when I start to tell them, they think I'm telling lies. Well, I say, it's in the reach of my arms. The span of my hips. The stride of my step. And the curl of my lips. I'm a woman, phenomenally. Phenomenal woman. That's me. I walk into a room just as cool as you please, and to a man, the fellow stands or falls down on his knees. And then they swarm around me, a hive of honeybees. I say, it's the fire in my eyes, the flash of my teeth, the swing in my waist, and the joy in my feet. I'm a woman, phenomenally. Phenomenal woman. That's me. Men themselves have wondered what they see in me. They try so much, but they can't touch my inner mystery. And when I try to show them, they say they still can't see. I say, it's the arch of my back, the sun of my smile, the ride of my breast, and the grace of my style. I'm a woman, phenomenally. Phenomenal woman. That's me. Now you understand just why my head's not bowed. Oh, we don't shout or jump about. I have to talk real loud. And when you see us passing, it ought to make you proud. I say, it's the bend of our hair, the palm of our hand, and the need for our care. 'Cause we are women, phenomenally. Phenomenal woman, that's us.
As we honor phenomenal women tonight, and we honor again our past, it's only fitting that we talk just for a moment about Davida Good. She literally has mentored everyone. I mean, literally has mentored everyone. I met Davida Good, I think we were co-counsel on a case, I don't even know how many years ago, probably a long time ago. It was a long time ago. I think it was a discrimination case. And I really, truly had the pleasure of meeting Davida at that point. And I knew of her for many years because when I was in practice in Florida with the Gary firm, we often called on her to help us with any matter, every matter, anything that we needed in Georgia. She's phenomenal in every way, but what you all may not realize is that she was an English teacher. So the precision with the language and her insistence on excellence is born from her abilities that she acquired when she was an English teacher and insisting that the students give her their best. So without further ado, I'd like to bring up Davida Good, someone who we honor as part of the past of this wonderful organization.
I tell you, when I hear 33 years, that is just so hard for me to listen to. I was GABWA's 5th president. And that just seems so long ago. And I became involved with GABWA in 1983. And of course, it has been the love of my life. At any rate, whenever I'm asked to introduce someone, I'd much rather introduce them as who they are, the real person. I mean, I could go on, look through the book and talk about Judge Kimberly Esmond Adams, and talk about where she went to school and her bio and all of that information. But that's just not really who Judge Adams is. So while she has a full bio that's on the website, and you can look at that and talk about where she went to school, I decided that I was going to call Judge Adams so we could just have a conversation about her passion. And so it's always good to make that phone call first, because when I called her to talk to her about one passion, she said, "Oh, no, that's not my passion." She said, "I'm involved with that, and I contribute to that, and I do speaking for that, and it's near and dear to my heart and close to my heart." She said, "But my passion is GABWA. That's my passion." Judge Kimberly Esmond Adams is GABWA's 25th president. She became president so quickly after becoming active with GABWA, we didn't know what hit us. I first observed Judge Adams at our first scholarship brunch in 2004. And I'm guessing that it was 2004. 2 years later, she was president. It was the year actually that Judge Pitts Allison Pitts was president. And I believe that year we didn't have a gala, and Judge Adams committed to having an event that would celebrate our scholarship recipients. As Judge Walker said, we'd been giving out scholarships way back in 1983. But Judge Adams committed to having something that not only celebrated our scholarship recipients, but also as a way to garner more funds to give out scholarships. And as Judge Walker said, we would give out book money, and it was very small in the beginning. But Judge Adams said, we're going to take it to another level. We're moving towards that 25th year, and book money was good at the beginning. Any money was good. But she really wanted to see it grow and to be something that really would have an impact. And as most of our recipients, if you've ever been to one of the brunches, will talk about how that money came just in the nick of time and was just what they needed. So at any rate, she took us to the next level with that brunch. And the first brunch was a huge success. The food was good. Everybody showed up. I want to say she was the mayor's race was going on at the time. I can't think of the female who was running for mayor, but Lisa Borders, I believe. Yeah. So she was. I think that was the one that where she spoke. I could be wrong, but anyway. It was a huge success, and we raised a lot of money at that event. And if you were at the brunch this year, you know that we gave away $30,000 in scholarship money. And so that was Judge Adams. That's what she wanted to see. She wanted to kick that money up just a little bit more, so you would really, she said, I wanted to put some real money in their pockets. And that's what she did. And during Judge Allegra Lawrence's year as foundation chair, Judge Adams kicked off with the project endowment. Of course, we had previously had an endowment. And of course, that money was extra money to get the membership and others to contribute to the pot that is going to really keep us going way into the future when we're at our 40th year. And as you know, this year, Judge Tucson has challenged all of us past presidents to make a pledge to the foundation, to the endowment of $3,000. And we've all, of course, stepped up to that pledge. After Judge Adams chaired the Scholarship Foundation for 2 years, she ran for GABWA president without competition. In 2006, she held a futures retreat, and we had never done that before. And it was a strategic planning session where the GABWA mission statement that Julie just talked about, we've had many versions of it, but the statement was at that time honed, tweaked, and crystallized to what it is today, which is to nurture, support, and galvanize the power of black women attorneys, advocate for women and children, and empower our communities. And we obviously live up to our mission. She also, during her presidency, started the GABWA Family Picnic and Cookout. And the reason she said that she started that cookout was so that we could have our families there and they would understand why GABWA took up so much of our time. Of course, that was the year that our first Founders Awards were given out. And those awards, those founders, the Bensonetta Tipton Lane Award and the Barbara Harris Award, those awards were created to celebrate us. And finally, Judge Esmond Adams started the Leadership Tea, which is a grand hat-wearing event for those who wear hats, to bridge the gap between young lawyers and GABWA leadership. That event also continues until this day. And of course, last but not least, how could I forget that Judge Adams is certainly a fashionata. And I just wait to see her because I know that she will be put together from head to toe. And I'm just always excited to see what's new. So talk about having all of these other things that we love. She also sings in the choir and sings very beautifully. And so when Judge Adams told me that her passion was GABWA, I felt that it was important to share this with all of you. Although she has a bachelor's degree, a law degree, has worked for law firms, became a Superior Court judge by running for office, what she is passionate about is GABWA. And so it is my pleasure to introduce to you GABWA's 25th president, the Honorable Kimberly Esmond Adams. I told you she was sharp. Didn't I tell you? Come on up here. Look at her. I told you she was sharp. I knew it. Let me leave that for you.
I think I'm going to carry Vita around with me. That's the best introduction I think I've ever had. Thank you so much, Vita. Good evening, my GABWA sisters and brothers, and to all assembled here this evening for this very special tradition in the life of our beloved organization, the passing of the mantle of leadership. Indeed, we all are here to witness this significant rite of passage because we recognize that without leaders who are willing to serve our organization, her future is at stake. And so it is my privilege to offer a few words in the form of a charge to the 2014 Executive Board. Attorney Pamela Means, who will assume the presidency of the National Bar Association when we host the 89th Annual NBA Convention in Atlanta this summer, said to me in a recent telephone conversation, "You know, I am really impressed with GABWA. We don't have anything like it in St. Louis, and I really like that you go girl thing that you all do. I want to steal it." Well, Pamela's affinity for the organization and work of the Georgia Association of Black Women Attorneys certainly comes as no surprise to me. In fact, I hear similar sentiments expressed quite often from other sister lawyer friends from all over the country. But the fact of the matter is that sometimes it is good to hear how much others value who you are and what you do, because otherwise we unwittingly take it for granted. So let me then be the one to say to all of my GABWA sisters and brothers here this evening, but particularly my GABWA sisters, that you all really are some bad mamma jammas. And I think that is worthy of a rousing ovation for yourselves. Our beloved GABWA is the collective force we exert to ensure our place in this legal community and to ensure that our collective voice is heard with clarity and with purpose. I am sure most people assembled here have heard the expression, women hold up half the sky. Well, I am convinced that if women generally hold up half the sky, black women can hold up 3/4 of it together. And you might ask me why I say that. The answer, in my view, is simple. There are few forces with which to be reckoned more powerful than a group of black women all working for the same purpose and toward the same goal, because that is who we are, and that is what we do. For you see, when you tell a black woman she won't succeed because it's never been done, our mind's translation is, I have to make a way or find one. When you dare to tell a black woman no, our mind's translation is, not today. Come back in a couple of weeks and try again. And when you ask a black woman, why are you working so hard? You're making the rest of us look bad. Our mind's translation is, good. Then I know I'm on the right track because I know that I have to work twice as hard and be twice as good just to stay in the race. It is who we are and what we do. So to the members of the 2014 Executive Board, I say to you, be bold, be ready, and be united. Be bold. Each of you must be prepared to do things you have never done and open your mind to possibilities you may never have considered. Leaders before you have done precisely that and have led the way. Before our founders convened and dared to envision an organization for black women lawyers, as Julie described, there wasn't one. Before GABWA members began to throw their support behind African American women candidates from the State House to the courthouse, there were very few of us serving in elected office. Before GABWA members conceived of an academy to better equip young African American lawyers for the practice of law, no such preparation was available. Boldness requires vision and determination. Commit yourselves to thinking outside of the box about new and different ways that you can help this organization fulfill its mission through your collective leadership. And then you must be ready. Stay sharp and attuned to the issues affecting the populations that GABWA serves. Study the issues, seek out advice, and strategize to ensure that you are prepared to step up to the opportunity or challenge when it is presented. There is never a perfect time, but if you start getting ready to seize the opportunity, tackle the issue, confront the problem, or develop a solution after it has surfaced, then you will be too late. As officers of GABWA, you must be like a Girl Scout troop armed with the law and a legion of followers ready to make a difference. Commit yourselves to vigilance and preparation to ensure that you are always ready and anticipating the next opportunity to demonstrate leadership and to be of service. And finally, you must be united. The membership has spoken and elected you to serve our beloved organization at such a time as this. We expect that you will have a common goal and vision during this service year, and that you all will be singing from the same proverbial hymn book. It may be the case that in your zeal to be bold, as I have challenged you, some of us may wish that you were a little less so, Madam President. But I can assure you that a united plan will assuage many a naysayer. You must be united as an executive board in all things you undertake. Know that the whole is always more effective than the sum of its parts. Hence, you must commit yourselves to be on one accord during this year so that this executive board might serve with an unmistakable clarity of purpose that continues to move GABWA forward, because you are the stewards we have entrusted with the rarest of gems, and we expect you to safeguard her at all costs. I'd like to ask all past GABWA leadership in any capacity to please stand. That is, past leaders. Please stand. Ladies, members of the 2014 Executive Board, As you look around and survey this room, which is punctuated with founders, founding members, past presidents, officers, and committee chairs, take heart in knowing that we all have your back. We support you and will be available to assist you in whatever way you may need us, because that is who we are. But be very clear that we will hold you accountable, because that is what we do. You all may be seated. Honoring the past means that you have taken inventory of extraordinary leaders who have served before you, the sacrifices they have made to better GABWA, and their unwavering commitment to ensure her longevity. Envisioning our future means that you have committed yourselves to the fulfillment of our organization's mission and purpose in ways that will forge a clear path forward. Ladies, may your service to GABWA as members of the 2014 Executive Board affirm you, challenge you, inspire you, and uplift you. We are counting on you. So be bold, be ready, and be united. Congratulations.
And I think Davida Good said everything you could about Judge Adams. She's simply a phenomenal woman. Every aspect of her embodies diligence, brilliance, and the refusal to be denied. The refusal to be denied. And of course, be prepared when you go into a courtroom. Yes. But I say that to the young lawyers who may not know this and may not have experienced what it is to go into a courtroom unprepared. You just don't ever want to be in that position. Because you never want to be in a position to say to any judge, what had happened was. No. So we are moving on with our program. And as we honor our past leaders and the leadership, I believe that Judge Barbara Harris is here. Am I correct? Oh. And so Judge Adams, and I believe that also Don Jones is going to, both of them are going to now come and address you. And let me just say just one moment and say a few words about Don Jones. Again, I think it's extraordinary when we are everywhere. King and Spalding, defense lawyer, products liability, toxic tort litigation, environmental litigation. That is phenomenal. There are so few black women in the world that can say that they practice in those areas on a high level, such as Don Jones. But what you may not realize about her is the compassion, even though she represents, the defense, her compassion and the fact that she's there at the table is extraordinary. And that, I believe, is because she's a nurse by training. And she believes fundamentally in helping people. So I just wanted to say a few words about Don Jones, and I think right now you and Judge Adams are going to render some comments.
Good evening. I have the pleasure of introducing the officers and committee chairs and other leaders of this organization for 2014. First, the officers. President Tracy R. Benzo. I want you to line up closest to me. And then get everybody on the other side. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Past presidents are allowed to be bossy. President-elect Adjoa Garte Tego Seymour. I practiced, so I had to use her whole name. Vice President Janet Scott. Member-at-large Brenda Raspberry. You guys line up on this side. Member-at-large Tori Silas. Student Member-at-large Marianne Uzoko. Treasurer Tamara Mitchell Credit, congratulations. Secretary Cherry L. Shelton. Assistant Secretary Liz Broadway Brown. Parliamentarian Rita Treadwell. Historian Alita McLaurin. Vice President of Technology Stacy Burton White. Vice President of Albany Alfreda Shepard. Vice President of Augusta Amanda N. Heath. Vice President of Columbus Katanga L. Wright. Vice President of Macon Jonna J. Edmondson Cooper. Vice President of Savannah Denise M. Cooper. And I apologize. I know I know how to pronounce her name. I apologize. I'm clearly nervous, Jana. I've called the girl's name for 20 years. Immediate past President Jacqueline Bunn, who had to leave earlier. These are your officers for 2014.
Ladies, if you would turn and face me and raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, please state your full name. Do solemnly swear that I will earnestly endeavor to perform my duties as an officer of the Georgia Association of Black Women Attorneys faithfully to the best of my ability and understanding and in accordance with the policies, bylaws, and Constitution of the Georgia Association of Black Women Attorneys, my conscience, and my God. This I do swear. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Now to the committee chairs and co-chairs. Community Service Chair Tawana Morgan. Co-chair Hogan Harrison Walton. And co-chair Charlotte Rito. Fundraising Chair Christy Offit. And you guys line up closest to me. Co-chair for fundraising Shariki Cavett. And co-chair Cherie Tumbling. Inner Bar Relations Chair Simone Hilton. I know her too. And co-chair Daniel Allison. Blame that one on my eyes. Judicial Review Committee Chair Vanessa Hickey Gales. And co-chair Shondina Morris. Legal Education Chair Wendy Jerkins. And co-chair Terry Fields. Membership Chair Mystical Studaway. Co-chair Royce Blewett. And co-chair Deatrice Thomas. Newsletter Chair Liz Broadway Brown. And co-chair Morgan Clemens. Political Action Chair Susie Ockleberry. And co-chair Julie M.T. Walker. Student Programs Chair Mecca Anderson. Co-chair April Robinson. Gala Chair Ashley Palmer. Co-chair Terica Redfield Gansey. And co-chair Morgan Clemens. Auction Chair Tori Silas. And co-chair Cherry L. Shelton. Legally Speaking Chair Sonia Natasha Brown. Co-chair Kenya Johnson. Sections Chair Deirdre Stokes Merriman. And co-chair Vera L. June. Publicity Chair Neka Egwatu, I said that right. And co-chair Brianna Williams. Awards and Sponsorships Chair Shatori Bates and Co-Chair Jade Logan. Woman to Woman Initiative Chair Vida Good and Co-Chair Candace Rogers. And last but not least, Judicial and Public Office Academy Chair Jadanya C. Butler and Kedra Gotel, Co-Chair.
My goodness, this is the troop I was talking about, I guess. Good gracious. All right, ladies. I don't want to have my back to you. If each of you would please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, please state your full name. Do swear. That I will earnestly endeavor. To perform my duties. On the committee to which I have been appointed. Of the Georgia Association of Black Women Attorneys. Faithfully. To the best of my ability. And understanding. And in accordance. With the policies. Bylaws. And Constitution. Of the Georgia Association of Black Women Attorneys. My conscience. And my God. This I do swear. Congratulations.
And so we are moving right along with the program, Madam President. And this is probably the hour that we've all been waiting for, which is to hear from Madam President. And here to introduce Madam President officially is Joy Lampley Fortson. Joy Lampley Fortson. Many of you know her because she's a past president of GABWA, and you know of her extraordinary career. She's an assistant chief counsel with the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. She's done everything from white-collar crime to violent crime in terms of serving as a lawyer. She has served in numerous leadership positions throughout her career. She's given her heart and soul to GABWA over the years, and she's just a magnificent, magnificent person that I had the pleasure of meeting and heard so much about over the years. She, along with Dana Singleton, who is a good friend, a good personal friend of Tracy Benzo, are going to introduce our president. And then we're going to hear remarks from our president. And what can I say, just for one moment? I know that you're going to introduce her, but I just have to say a little something about our president. I asked our president if she would give me a few words and just share with me a little bit about her, something that maybe you all may not know, something that may not be in her bio. And she really didn't want to do that because she's way too humble, she's way too modest, she's way too nice, really, and she doesn't like to brag and say anything about her accomplishments. But I'm going to read to you all what I pried out of her because I think it will tell you and give you some insight, if that's okay, Madam President. It's not okay. Okay, so then we go to Plan B. So, I'm going to read to you some of the points that she gave me because I think that they really give you insight into this magnificent woman. She's a first-generation college student in her family. We know that that is significant. Many of us are first-generation college students, first-generation professional students. But you need to know that she is a first-generation college student and know the significance of her accomplishments. You saw so many people, so many family members here in the audience, and so you can appreciate what that means. She attended Clemson University on an academic scholarship. She loves workers' compensation law because she has the ability, I have to put on my glasses here, to educate and be an advocate for the worker because she comes from a blue-collar family, and she's proud of it. Her background, she says, keeps her hungry because you can't teach hungry. She's a GABWA scholarship recipient. Judge Adams awarded her her scholarship. That scholarship allowed her to finish law school and to study for the bar full-time. And she worked full-time during law school. She says that she found a home in GABWA because she, meaning GABWA, allows her to dream big. She has an awesome husband and life partner for the past 12 years. She was her law partner's first paralegal. Let me restate that. She was her law partner's first paralegal, and she worked her way up from adjusting from paralegal to attorney. That is so significant. Again, in keeping with the notion that we must have options, she's an avid CrossFitter in terms of her workout regimen. She wakes up every morning at 4:30 a.m. so she can get in everything that she has to do. And she's still trying to figure that out. She's boxed previously. She does kickboxing. She practices yoga mediation. She loves Olympic weightlifting. And she says, we are all destined to do something great. For some reason, in this season of my life, I've been chosen for this role. I am humbled, but excited about what the future holds. And I thought that that was so significant because those words come from Madam President herself. But the introduction that you all really want to hear comes from Joy Lampley Forston.
Actually, I didn't need to get up here. That was wonderful, CK. Thank you. But I love to talk, so I'm going to talk a little bit more about Madam President. Good evening. It is indeed an honor to introduce our new GABWA President, Tracy R. Benzo. Now, those of you who know Tracy well understand that she could be described in a number of ways. Personally, I could go on and on and on about how amazing she is. I met her years ago when I interviewed her for a GABWA scholarship, and of course she received that scholarship because I knew then that she was a rock star. But I only have a few minutes, so I won't go on and on and on, but I do want to share with you this brief description of Tracy R. Benzo. T is for tenacious. Tracy tenaciously advocates for others to give them voice and power and hope. Whether advocating for the women and children served by GABWA or for injured litigants across the state of Georgia, Tracy is a tenacious advocate. R, responsible and reliable. I think Judge Adams will agree with me when I say this. From the moment that she began serving on the GABWA Executive Board as a student programs co-chair years ago, Tracy quickly established a reputation of being both responsible and reliable. Essentially, she was rock solid. We always knew that we could count on Tracy to do whatever she said that she would do. A is for ambitious. Tracy has big, big dreams about what she will do now and what she will do in the future. But she never just dreams about it. She goes after it with ambition and with determination and with hard work. And she has ambitions for this organization that you will learn about tonight and in the years, as the year progresses. So to her executive board, I say, get ready to go to work with your high heels on. Just get ready to do the work. And to the membership, I say, let's get ready to follow the lead and challenge of our president, Tracy Benzo. C is for character. Tracy is a woman of character. She leads with integrity and truth. And she always, always strives to do not just the easy thing, but to do the right thing. E is for excellence. Tracy is a woman of excellence. She is an excellent attorney, an excellent leader, an excellent friend, and I'm fairly certain that her husband would say that she is an excellent wife. Where is he? He said amen. And I know that her husband agrees with Proverbs 31:10 that reads, "A woman of excellence who will find, for her worth is far more precious than jewels." And finally, E. Tracy is engaging. I tell you, when she walks into a room, she lights it up. She has this great positive energy that just makes her, frankly, just draws all of us to her. She likes people. And that's something that's really important when you're GABWA president, because the phone calls have already begun, haven't they, Tracy, and the emails. So she likes people, and she loves this organization. And for the next 12 months, she will work tirelessly to engage our membership in doing the work to fulfill GABWA's important mission. Now, just a little bit more about Tracy. As you know, she's a partner at Hasner Law, where she represents injured workers across the state of Georgia. She is committed to serving the Georgia Association of Black Women Attorneys as president this year. Nevertheless, she is currently a participant in the GTLA LEAD program and serves on the New Lawyers Division of the Georgia Trial Lawyers Association. In addition, she served on the executive board of the Gate City Bar Association and is a graduate of the Young Leaders Leadership Academy. Tracy graduated with distinction from this law school, Atlanta's John Marshall Law School. And while attending law school, she served as the president of the Black Law Student Association and was a member of the award-winning mock trial team and moot court teams. That's not really surprising, is it? In addition, Tracy was the legislative review editor for the John Marshall Law Journal. Tracy is a previous GABWA Scholar, Gate City Bar Scholar, DeKalb Lawyers Scholar, and a recipient of the Leadership Institute for Women of Color Scholarship. Prior to law school, she worked as a litigation paralegal after completing a leadership development program with Travelers and Citigroup in Alpharetta. She earned her Bachelor of Arts in Legal Studies and Speech and Communications from Clemson University. Tracy, I am so excited about your year as GABWA president. And as I've told you for the past year, you will be phenomenal. And I want you to know that the past presidents and I love you and stand ready to support you. Now you will hear a few words from Tracy's best friend from college, Dana Singleton. Dana?
Good evening. I met Tracy when I was 16 years old. We were both at a college program at Clemson University for rising seniors. We became friends that summer, and we've been friends ever since. We decided to attend Clemson University to get together, and we were very tight, and we were roommates. We also had two other girls that we were very close with, and we collectively called ourselves the Bomb Girls. Tracy has always been very focused and very dedicated. Sometimes when we were out having a little bit too much fun, she was in the room studying with the door closed, made clear not to be disturbed. She would get up every morning at 5 a.m. and walk to the gym. I would be sleeping in my bed and I would think, gosh, Tracy is so dedicated. She is not only a dedicated to what she wants to be in life, she's also a dedicated friend. She's always been there for us. She's been there for all the weddings, all the childbirths, even the funerals. I have family here in Atlanta, and I think they love her more than they love me. I am so excited to see all of her hard work, all of her dedication, and all of her focus just collaborate for her to be such a dominant field in the law profession. I know that she will be a phenomenal asset to the GABWA Association, and I am honored to have the opportunity to introduce my friend, my sister, Tracy Benzo.
I feel like I talk loud enough that I don't need this microphone, but I'll try to work it out here. Put some of this stuff here. And I see one of my other best friends was actually able to make it. She's a nurse practitioner, and apparently she got somebody to cover her shift because Cecilia, known as Cece Porche, is here, and I just want to make sure that you know that I acknowledge you too. Love you. I'm at home tonight. A lot of people here, my VP there that keeps me straight, knows that maybe I was a little bit stressed, but it's something about the magic of GABWA that just puts me at ease. And I thank all of you for being here tonight because we're starting a great year right now, and it's because of you. But I'm going to step back for a moment and say it's more than an honor and a distinct pleasure to greet you this evening as the president of the Georgia Association of Black Women Attorneys. It feels good. But let me be clear, very clear, that this is not about me. This is about us. We are all stronger together. We have been blessed to grow over 650 members strong statewide. We have active chapters in Atlanta, Augusta, Columbus, Macon, and Albany. But it takes all of us to affect social change. We need you. And we need you to bring other dues paying members. I like that. 2014. This year we will focus on honoring our past and envisioning our future. Now, what does that mean? We must know our past in order to move forward. Knowing our past allows us to have clear vision. And when we have clear vision, we will shine brighter than the brightest beacon on top of a hill. Because we know who we are and we know where we are going. Now, it's not by chance that I had Julie, Mighty Tough Walker, come here today to tell you a little bit about GABWA's history, our mission, our vision. Because one, I didn't want you to think I made it up. But sometimes as we grow, we may lose sight of what we are about, where we came from, how we started, and where we are going. You see, I see 2014 as the year of transition. Now, when you're doing structural development, kind of behind the scenes work, sometimes it's not pretty, sometimes it's not fun, your name is not in lights. My husband likes to say that I like to make things up to do. But it's but it's time. We are dedicated this year to make sure that our foundation is sturdy, to make sure that we are ready and prepared for continued growth statewide. How will we fulfill our mission in 2014? First, we have to know it, and second, we have to work together. Now, I just want to take a few moments to talk to you, not give you a speech, just to talk to you. How will we nurture, support, and galvanize the power of black women attorneys? You've heard all night tonight the GABWA has an award-winning program, and this year will be no exception. But we have to do more to support and nurture our members statewide. And how will we do this? We will do it together. Now, because I have a statewide practice in workers' compensation, I have the ability and the opportunity to meet a lot of our members across the state of Georgia. And in October of last year, I met one of our members in Brunswick, Georgia, Tracy Cadet, and she allowed me to tell her story. Tracy is in Brunswick because her husband is a soldier and she relocated from Atlanta. And she felt the need to tell me that she feels disconnected from her sisters here. She doesn't have the mentorship that we have here in Atlanta. She has problems paying for CLEs and having it at a reduced cost that we have here in Atlanta. But Tracy's story is not an isolated event. I listened to Tracy. I heard her. But see, I'm not in the business of listening to problems. GABWA is in the business of changing lives. So how do we nurture and support and galvanize Tracy and others that aren't able to be here with us tonight? We use technology. Now, everyone in this room that really knows me, especially everyone at the firm, is laughing right now, even if they're not doing it out loud, because I'm the person that complains that my BlackBerry was confiscated and I am forced to use an iPhone. I am the person that is the last holdout on social media. Don't participate in any of that. But I realize with being a leader that I don't have to know how to do all of these things. You look over here at these beautiful, intelligent women. We truly have the brightest and best, and you have all been hand selected. I just have to have the vision to see this mission through. And we have already assembled a team in 2013, and we have several drafts of a new interactive website that should launch this quarter. It will allow us to have live feeds and conversations, webinars, so you can log in and participate in your CLEs. We'll have a media center, legislative updates for our political action committee, video messaging, and a directory so that all of us can be a resource to each other. So we can find each other all around the state. Someone will respond to your email or phone call because we need to come together to be of service to each other. Remember, this is the year of transition. This is the first phase. We are building the foundation for 2014 and beyond. I'm probably working a little bit too closely with Audra at this point, but it's for GABWA. So how do we nurture and support our members again? Well, it came to my attention, and I see Patrice Perkins Hooker in the back. Yes, I did it, and she hates it. But as a president, you can do those types of things. Patrice, will you please stand up for just one moment, please? Now, you heard earlier, because we were looking for you, so I'm glad you're here, that Patrice will be the first African-American state bar president. And we are so very proud of you, and we stand behind you and beside you. Because it came up in a conversation that I've heard that at an alarming rate, first-generation lawyers are being disbarred. Those lawyers look just like me. And as you've heard from CK, I'm a first-generation college student. So I know how it feels not to have all the answers. I know how it feels to be the first. But no woman or man is an island. We are all stronger together. Again, I tell you that I'm not in the business of listening to problems. We are in the business, ladies, of problem solving. This year, Patrice, we plan to work closely with the State Bar to be a resource to solo and small firm owners. We are working on a solo small firm symposium in September. We have to ensure that our members are encouraged and have the tools to succeed in this practice of law. It is our responsibility to replace ourselves. We must ensure that we are fueling our own pipeline. And my parents taught me, and this is for my law students in the room as well, your present circumstances do not determine where you can go. They merely determine where you start. Now see, if I look a little bit taller today, it's because I know that I stand on the shoulders of all of those who have come before me, and I will never forget that. We have a clear vision because we have historical leadership that has already done the heavy lifting. But we can no longer have a generational divide. It is time for us to pick up the torch from the old warriors. We must honor our past by learning from them in order for us to move forward together. Second, you heard from Julie Mighty Tough Walker. GABWA, how will we advocate for women and children in 2014? Now, you see, if you support women and children, then you are a friend of GABWA. And please join us in our efforts. We need your support. Now, if I stayed up here a little bit too long and told you about all our programs, I'm sure you're ready to kick me off the stage, so I won't try your patience. But I'm really excited about what we have in store for you this year. We need help also with fundraising for our Glitter Gala. I'll tell you about that because that allows us to do our charitable work and allows us to provide sponsorships or scholarships to minority women. And you've heard that I am a GABWA scholar, so that is near and dear to my heart. But one point that I really want to share with you is about our efforts to increase diversity on the bench. Our political action committee is up and running at full speed, and it is our mission to ensure that more black women are on the bench, that more black women are engaged in politics, and that more black women have leadership roles. It goes without saying that it is imperative that our voices are heard. It is necessary that we have a seat at the table. We must be a part of the conversation. Our membership is more than qualified, and others need to know about us. And we must support each other. To our membership, my question to you tonight is, what would you do if you weren't afraid? Now, I want you to really think about that. What would you do if you weren't afraid? Would you run for a judgeship and not passively sit by and hope for an appointment? Let us help you in your cause. Would you decide to seek an elective office in order to effect social change? Let us stand with you. Would you commit to partnership track knowing that it's possible to be a wife and a mother? Let us have that conversation today. GABWA, it has been done before and it shall be repeated again. I see something in each of you, and we want to nourish you, no matter where you are in life. When we sit by and we don't say anything, opportunity will pass. Sometimes, ladies, we have to make some noise. Sometimes you have to make noise in order for someone to listen. It's when we have different perspectives and life experiences that we are able to see things in a different light. Join us in our efforts to ensure that the Georgia bench is more reflective of the community that it serves. As you've heard, our next Diversity on the Bench seminar will be in Macon on February the 22nd, and we need you. We have vision, and we can do anything together. You see, this is the magic of GABWA. As you heard, she allows us to dream so big. What's the point of dreaming if you're not going to dream big? Our third point on our mission, empower our communities. Now this year, in lieu of making a stop here and a stop there to complete our service, GABWA will go deeper, not wider. See, it's when you go deep that you may feel a little bit uncomfortable. It's when you go deep that you're on the verge of a breakthrough. It's when you go deep that you can see change. We will build lasting relationships with a set group of people to let them know that we love them and that we are here to be of service. And this year, GABWA will partner or adopt families first. Because when we have stronger families, we have stronger communities. And let me take a moment to introduce you to Families First.
Families First is a first-class organization.
The important thing is that they're out there helping families and helping people.
I wanted to be there for my daughter, and Family First made it possible.
In Georgia, when you think about services to families, support for children and youth, you think Families First.
Our goal is to ensure children have long-lasting, loving relationships. So that involves everything from adoption to foster care. And we run the Georgia Resource Center for adoptive and foster families, and a host of activities. The second is supportive housing. A key tenet of self-sufficiency and success of families is permanent, stable housing. So we provide a host of services to wrap families with support services so that they can maintain housing. And the most important and broad community-based activity we provide is parenting and family life education services. And that ranges from services for families going through divorce, to services for parenting skills, services for women who are young mothers, to ensure that they can have a self-sufficient, strong, stable family. Every family who's going through disruption can get services from us.
We've adopted 3 beautiful children, Jack, Katie, and Christy. We've been able, with the help of Families First, to really develop a strong family. Families First has been essential in building that, and we're eternally grateful to that organization.
Families First is really, as its name suggests, it is about uplifting families in order to strengthen the communities in Atlanta. And the families benefit enormously from the assistance that they get from Families First.
Well, Comcast supports Families First because we're a part of the community, and they're a big part of the community. They're helping people, and many of those people are people that are our customers and are people that are our neighbors. And everybody that we've seen get involved in Families First programs have been helped. They've appreciated that help, and they've been better for it.
Families rock. Our family's the best. Thank you, Families First.
Please support Families First.
It's a really good thing.
I am a proud supporter of Families First, and you should be too.
Comcast is a proud supporter of Families First.
With Families First, we can change the world.
You should support Families First because stronger families mean stronger communities.
And GABWA supports Families First. We are ecstatic about the plans that we have, and stay tuned to hear from the community service chairs and co-chairs. Now, this last project that I'd like to tell you about is near and dear to my heart. Thank you so much. I'll wait for that to go. It's a legacy project. And I know that I'm speaking on faith, and faith is the substance of things hoped for, but the evidence of things not seen. And I know somebody in this room knows what I'm talking about. Jacqueline actually talked to you all about the Sankofa bird, so you know what that symbol means. I've been sending it out since January the 1st, and she explained to you that it's an African symbol. The bird is looking to the back, looking to the past, and in the bird's mouth is an egg, and that egg represents the wisdom that the past or the elders impart on the future. And it's the most fitting symbol of this year and our theme of honoring our past in order for us to envision or to know our future, to have a clear vision. You always have to have a clear vision. And for some reason, we haven't really been able to document GABWA's history the way that we should have it, so that people that come behind us will be able to honor their past and always have a clear vision for the future. And this year, GABWA, we're going to do it. On our last general body meeting in 2014, you like how I'm already at the last general body meeting? In November, we're going to come full circle here. And we will premiere our documentary of GABWA's history entitled Her Story. And we're starting to film that project in February. Again, it is my belief that you always have to know your past in order for you to have a clear vision of the future. And when you have clear vision, you can shine brighter than the brightest beacon on top of a hill, because you know who you are and you know where you're going. And GABWA is no different for us. So please join us in our efforts. We need all of you to come together. We need your time, your talents, and your gifts so that we can work together to move GABWA forward. Now it's almost time for us to get back to work, ladies. But I want to thank you all, and of course thank the board for being of service this year, because it's not about me, it's about all of us together, working together to effect social change and to make sure that we always remember our mission. And everything that we do this year will always go directly to our mission. Now, I know that Janet, thank you so much for doing that, has given my family, and thank you so much for being here because I didn't tell them about it, but my father did. And this week, they all decided to come up. So it means so much for you to be with me here at this time, and I really appreciate you. And for my Hasner Law family, and I know Stephen's probably wondering where I've been at work, but I'm working. It's just remotely right now. It's remotely. And Heather, thank you for your unwavering support, and to the team, because I couldn't stand here without you, and you mean the world to me. And Mr. Lloyd Hasner and Miss Diane, that have always been supportive of me since they met me when I graduated from Clemson. And it means a lot that they came from South Florida, flew in, knew of the date before my other family, and they made arrangements. So it means so much. And to have my mother-in-law here, who has taught my husband how to love an ambitious woman. Yeah, he's a comedian tonight. And my brother-in-law, Osh, for being here and always being supportive. But my parents, I just want to say to you again that every day that God blesses me to walk on this earth, I seek to make you proud. So thank you for being here. And I have to shout out Keenan in the back for letting me check in all the time, and I'm always staying hungry. So thank you for your mentorship. And last but certainly not least, to my husband, who probably hasn't seen me in quite some time. Thank you for loving me for who I am, but most importantly, for everything I am not. Y'all are blushing. And sensitive is not one of them. I'm working on that. So thank you for embarking on this journey with us. So we'll be calling on you very shortly, so please answer your phones.
Well, Madam President, you've given me 2 minutes to wrap up, and I'm going to do it in a minute and a half. I'd be remiss if I didn't acknowledge Judge, and there's some announcements as well.
Sorry, Tracy has
Some. I see. Okay. Okay, so I'll help you pass them out.
Well, one's for you. Thank you, Brenda. And the first one is for you for planning this installation. Well, we did. I wanted to thank everyone for participating on the program. So we have Miss, I call you Vita Good, a small token of our appreciation, and thank you so much for your mentorship. Ms. Good sent me one of my very first workers' compensation claims. I've always been a supporter, so thank you. We have Don Jones, who calls and lets me know whenever I'm doing something improper. Okay, who else do we have on the program? Mm-hmm. Professor Renata Turner, thank you so much, and always being a supporter of me in school. You got it? Enjoy Lampley Fortson, who has always been my guide. Thank you. And Jacqueline Sonia? I think Sonia had to step out. Okay. So we'll save hers for hers. Janet, you have one too. Judge Adams, is Judge Adams still here? I think she had to step out. Okay. Oh. And I see Kim Anderson there. Were you here for the video? She is our partner for Families First, so I just want to say, the relationship has started. Thank you for being here, and thank you for letting us be of service. And Judge Harris had a conflict, George. And our scholarship recipients, are they still here or are they outside working? Will you please come to the front and be recognized? Hmm? See, we don't let you work and not recognize you, so thank you so much. Okay. Judge Julie M.T. Mighty Tough Walker, please. Do I have everybody? Brenda, have everybody? Yeah. And CK? No. CK is back here handing out the bags. And I told her not to do it. But thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, so now I have 1 minute to wrap it up. I would be remiss, Madam President, if I didn't recognize that, as you all know, we are going to be hosting the National Bar Association here in Atlanta in July of 2014. And GABWA, of course, is a partner. And so I've got to recognize the host committee, this small group that's been working tirelessly. Judge Willie Lovett, would you please stand? And Akua Kopak. And the three of us with me, we are your host committee. And trust me, we will be calling you, each and every one of you, to help us with CLEs, participation in CLEs, help with contributions, your magnificent firms, and as individuals, because we want to make this the best National Bar Convention, period. And that's our goal. Now, Madam President, as I wrap up, and I have 30 more seconds, I say to you and all of the new officers that were installed today, refuse to be denied. If someone tells you that you cannot do something and you have a passion for it, that is your license to do it. You heard Judge Adams say it, just do it. And call on every single GABWA member if you need to get it accomplished. Secondly, don't apologize for being a phenomenal woman. You saw the magnificent presentation of our President-elect Adjoa, of a phenomenal woman. Don't apologize for looking different, being different, having kinkier hair, broader hips, darker skin, and maybe even talking different, perhaps even more articulate. And the reason why you should never apologize is because you've got a tremendous group of women and some men who are just like you. Never be afraid to reach out and call in other trailblazers as you've done, and other members of GABWA. Never be afraid, because that is the reason why we're here. And never, never, never look down on anyone unless you're reaching down to pick him or her up. Finally, when all else hits the fan, because we don't use bad words, pray. Thank you, and have a good evening.
Hi, Tracy, and all of the new 2014 installation of officers and committee leaders. Serena Beasley, a scholarship recipient, 2014 GABWA Scholarship from Emory University, Emmett-2L. I just wanted to say congratulations. God is so awesome. He's placed you ladies in such a wonderful position right now. We know that you're going to move things onward and upward for GABWA, and I'm so honored to be a part of this organization, not only as a student, but as a future, attorney, and I'm just really glad to be here, and I'm looking forward to working with you all. All the best, Tracy.
Hi, this is Christina Peterson. I want to wish Tracy Benzo well wishes. I already know she's going to do a good job. She's been doing a good job already as President-elect. So get it, girl, and make us proud. We will follow you, stand beside you and behind you, and take this GABWA Association far. Thank you.
Congratulations, Tracy. I am extremely proud of you as a fellow member of the John Marshall community, and I am excited to help you this year.
Tracy, Madam President, I am so proud of you. I am so honored to serve on your board. I remember when I first met you, you were the first person in GABWA who embraced me so receptively, and I remember your humble, warm spirit, and also your eager and enthusiastic spirit about GABWA. You inspired me to be better and to do more. You deserve all that you have today and more. I am GABWA.